Never the girl that's seriously like, I am the vision. Like, and I should be. Hi beauties and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tara Powell. If you are new here, welcome. I am so happy and thankful to have you. As y'all can see, I have no makeup on yet, so my plan is to just sit down, chit chat, get ready. It's been honestly weeks since I've sat down and just talked to you guys, so I am beyond ready and excited to jump into this video. But before we get started, make sure to like this video, give it a little comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I mean, what are you waiting for? All right, y'all, without further ado, let's just jump on into the video. All right, y'all, so as you know, I always go into my eyebrows first. So today I am using the NYX Tame & Frame Tinted Eyebrow Pomade. And I am going to be taking that on this eyeliner brush from Sonia Kashuk. Y'all, it has literally been so long since I've sat down and talked. These past 2 weeks have been beyond busy for me. And it was something that I never really kind of expected. I've had such a chill past I don't know, 4 months at this point. And now I just feel like I am so busy. So as y'all know, I am graduating. And so that has brought on a whole new swarm of challenges because I've been doing my internship for I've been doing it since April. And so I've kind of gotten into the routine with that. I know which days I need to really work. I know what days I can, sort of just, let it go for the day. And then even the deadlines were never that strong, especially if you just couldn't figure it out. Yeah, my supervisor never really wanted us to not have our stuff done by the due date. But if you had challenges or something like that, you could definitely just, you could just let her know what's up. And then, usually she would be like, it's okay, blah, blah, just get it in as soon as you can. But because for so many weeks I was only doing my internship and I wasn't working, I wasn't in my senior capstone class, so I really wasn't too busy, you know what I mean, for a very long time. And then y'all, I started my senior capstone class, which basically is me on a newspaper or working for a newspaper for my school. Well, it's not the school's newspaper, but it's literally specific to journalism majors. And we have to take this course which puts us on a newspaper basically. And so so I had to do that, and it's just not an easy class. Well, they definitely modified it because of Corona and stuff like that. They definitely made it easier on us because usually we have to it's called Philadelphia Neighborhoods for a reason, because it's usually reporting around Philadelphia. And so they definitely made it a little bit easier on us. But I mean, me trying to do an internship, me trying to figure out what 4 stories I'm gonna do, and me starting a new job where I'm I'm training to be a supervisor was just not the tea, dude. So I don't really know if you guys noticed, but last Friday I didn't upload. And that was the first time I didn't upload in the 2 months that I've been on YouTube. That's the first time I missed an upload. And when I tell you guys that I was freaking out about it, it was literally making me lose sleep. I just felt like I was not only letting myself down, but I was letting y'all down who know that I don't really miss. But also knowing that I'm sure a lot of people didn't even notice or care. And it was really just me beating myself up. But also, so last weekend I had my graduation party. And that, I mean, there was a lot of prepping and planning that went into that day. And so it got to about Thursday. It got to about Thursday night. I had work. And then I had work in the morning on Friday. And then I had to help my mom cook and plan and continue to plan and shop and stuff for this party. And then Saturday was my party. And so I was just there is absolutely no way that I can film and get a video up when I work every single day. And I and I had this party. So this past week has like been my last week of classes, and my internship was stopping. And so I had just so much to do, so much going on. And I literally could not film and edit and upload. And it really, really killed me. And then it was looking like I wasn't going to be able to post on Monday either. And luckily, like, me and my cousin filmed, so I was able to throw that video up. But I was getting very nervous that I wasn't going to have a video for you guys on Monday either. And I was panicking. And honestly, last week's experiences really just showed me how much I actually care about this YouTube thing. And I really I know that I sometimes get down on myself for not like growing as fast as how I wish I could or would or should or whatever. But I genuinely like to do this, and knowing that like I haven't filmed just a chit chat get ready with me in like literally a week and a half made me so sad, because I'm like, I love to just do this. Doing my internship is fun. It's social media based. It's what I want to do. It's fun. Then like my class is like, ugh, I just want my degree. But this YouTube is where I really find like joy and peace, and like to not upload last Friday, to not film at all last week was really just like, it made me really sad. Today I'm going to be working in the James Charles palette. No real shocker there. I use this a lot, but I am, like I said before, working on getting new palettes. So just stay tuned for that, because now that mama has a job, the budget is stepping up, people. The budget is stepping up. Not going to talk too much about colors today. Just one, because I have really no idea what I'm doing. And two, because I really just want to talk to you guys about like me graduating and what that kind of means and everything, because I wanted to do a sit down video where I talk about it, but at the same time I want to keep you guys entertained with like me doing my makeup and not just me talking about the past 4 years and how that's been. So I kind of wanted to combine the two. So this will be that video. So some of you may or may not know, I graduated from Temple University. And I can officially say that I graduated because all of my homework is in and done. All I'm waiting on is some grades, and I know that like I passed. There's no like worry in that. Temple is done, been paid, and it is officially like I have graduated, and I am just shook about it. Like for a while, I wasn't really claiming that I was graduated because I just didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want anything to happen, because I've heard so many people get so close to graduating, and you guys probably have too. And then all of a sudden it's like they don't ever talk about it again, or they just don't graduate. And it's like, I just didn't want to be that girl. Like I'm the girl that never wants to say too soon what she has going on or what she's doing, because I don't want people then to look to me for that and then be like, well, what happened? Like, you know what I mean? I always like to have like all my ducks in a row. And so I've always just kind of like not fully said like, yeah, I have graduated or whatever. But now I can like officially say that. And it's weird because, as you guys know, when I first got to Temple, I had about, or maybe you don't know, but I had about 40 credits. And in order to graduate from Temple with your journalism degree, I'm that specific because they are that specific. Like if you are a different major, you can have less or more credits. And so Temple is, and so journalism is definitely up there with 125 credits when to like if I just graduate like a gen ed, all I would need is like 119 credits. So it's definitely annoying because they do tack on those extra credits, but you know, that's life. And so I came in with 40, meaning that I would have needed like about like 80 credits, we'll say. A little bit more than 80 credits. And if you kind of like math that out, if you take, let's say 30 credits a year, I would have gotten 60 credits, right? So then I would have had a leftover 20 credits. And so my advisor at the time was like basically telling me that I won't graduate. Like I could kiss that goodbye. Like that's not gonna happen. And a little tea on me and how I function is like, if you tell me I'm not gonna do or what, like that was a mistake on her part, because you can't tell me like that I'm not gonna do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just lit a fire up under me, and now I'm gonna prove to you that I will still graduate in the 4 years with my other peers who I started this journey with. And that's that. Like, you can't tell me nothing. And so I worked. And when I mean I worked, I mean I literally last semester took 7 classes, and it equaled to about 21 credits. I literally had to petition the school to let me take 21 credits because they really weren't, because that's an overload like credit course, something like that. Like, basically most people stay within or under 18 credits, and here I am at 21. And so I mean, like, and that was last semester. Last fall semester, my senior year, I took 6 classes at 18 credits, which isn't as bad. But I mean, still, I'm out here taking all these courses and working so hard to just graduate on time. That was so important to me. I did not want to graduate like a year later, or like even a semester after. I really wasn't trying to graduate like that. I wanted to be on time. It was very important to me. And that is not me, even in the slightest, trying to diminish or anything, anybody else who takes longer or shorter than that. You know what I mean? Like, it's more just a me thing. And honestly, it really pushed me, especially her telling me no. I mean, that was automatically going to push me, but it really was pushing me to like do great. And not only do great, your girl is gonna end this whole college thing with like over a 3.5 GPA. To kind of put that in perspective, I don't even know if my parents know this, but when I left California, I had like a 2.6 something GPA. Like, I think it was like a 2.63 or something like that. So to end this whole thing going back to being above a 3.5, like, that just makes me so happy. And I really genuinely am like so proud of myself. And I don't give myself enough credit ever. One thing that's probably something that you'll really learn about me is that even like within this YouTube thing, when you guys comment and say like you like what I'm doing or you like my personality, when acquaintances or my family like that don't have to tell me that I'm doing well, that they like what I'm doing, tell me that they like what I'm doing or that I'm doing well, it makes me so happy, but also it is very weird for me. Like, I'm not used to accepting compliments, and I don't really know how to do it. So I'm always like, thank you, but like, are you sure? And I should not second guess myself. I should just be confident in what I offer and what I can bring to the table because I know who I am. But at the same time, it is very scary for me to have other people thinking that like she's full of herself, she thinks she's the best, blah blah. Like, I may come off like that and be like ha ha about it, but I'm never the girl that's seriously like, I am the vision. Like, and I should be. I think that's a great form of self-confidence. So like, yeah, I am very proud of myself for bringing my GPA up to a 3.5. Y'all, I gotta cut myself off because I am talking and forgetting that I am also doing my makeup. So moving on, I'm gonna move to my face now. So I'm gonna take this Maybelline Master Prime Primer in Blur and Smooth. You guys already know the tea. But what I will say is that when I was getting low grades and my GPA was being affected and everything, I always put so much primer on. Anyway, it was because I was in like general education classes, like maths and sciences and stuff, and that is just not where I thrive at all whatsoever. Like, not even in the slightest will you ever see me thriving at math, science. I guess those are the only two really, because I do like social studies. I have always liked that, like history or whatever. And I mean, obviously writing and reading I'm great at too. So I would say math or science is definitely like where I struggle, and that is what used to pull my grades down. I mean, the first time I took stats, I got a D in the class, and I was also going through things like a breakup and stuff. Don't ask. But But yeah, so I was definitely going through something, and that definitely affected how I was in school. But yeah, you'll never see me thriving at math and science. Moving swiftly to concealer, I'm gonna take a combination of these two concealers. They're both the they're both the e.l.f. 16-hour Camo concealers. This one is in Deep Cinnamon. This is my all over face shade. And this one is in Deep Olive. And this is like my under eye highlighting shade. But yeah, to finish my thought, I mean, it took me taking classes that I actually cared about, like my journalism classes, for me to start doing well, because I wanted to pay attention. It was important to me to pay attention. And so that's when I started to actually get good grades and stuff. And it's just hard. Like, I'm also not a studier. So shout out to my people who don't study. So shout out to my people who don't study, can't study. I am in that boat too. I have a very hard time studying. Almost to the point where, like, sometimes if I study, I end up messing myself up more than if I just chose not to study. And, you know, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it has played out in many an occasion where I'm like, wow, you should just let it go, bro. Because I think what happens is, like, I start to psych myself out and I start forgetting what I memorized. And once I forget what I memorized, then in my head, I don't know anything else on this test. You know what I mean? And so instead of like being able to really think through the question, I fault myself because I'm like, you don't know it because you forgot all of your notes. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I mean, somehow I got through it. I also took a lot of online classes. So if you're about to go to school and you're like, ooh, online classes, they sound hard. They are, well, I guess a lot of things are going to be online now because of the coronavirus. Here's my thing. They're not as hard as they seem. I know it may seem like it could be way more difficult trying to learn. You're like, I can't learn without a teacher. I can't teach myself. But at the end of the day, it's not you teaching yourself. Actually, they end up being a lot easier. Instead of giving you tests most times, they'll just ask you to write a paper or something similar to that, do a project, because, I mean, there's a lot of ways to cheat online, period. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, Quizlet, what's that other one? Oh, there's like a good one, Chegg. Literally, you could type answers.com. Like, there's so many ways for kids to like figure out the answer, just help from another student who went through it, you know what I mean? And so, oh man, I'm really beating myself. Anyway, and so yeah, I mean, if anytime I really had an option, I was taking online classes. I just kind of stopped once I got to Temple because I wanted to meet people. You know what I mean? Like, being a transfer student is not fun. I will tell you that right now. You know, a lot of people go to community college first and then they go to like a 4-year college, and you know, they tell you all the time, you know, you're going to save a lot of money. It's the best choice you can make, blah, blah, blah. I agree with, for financial reasons, that is a great way to go. A great way to go. If you want to go to school and you don't know what you want to go for, go to community college first. Here's what they don't tell you. It is hard as a transfer student to make friends. Hard. Just hard. Like, I'm telling you, I didn't meet my friend who introduced me to a whole nother group of friends. Well, okay. I didn't meet one of my friends until I started to work on campus, and then we just kind of realized that we clicked. Sorry, y'all. I'm again talking and not doing my makeup. And then my other friend, my friend who's actually like my best friend, like even now, I wasn't close with him until the start of my senior year. So I mean, like, that just goes to show you it is difficult to make friends as a transfer student. It doesn't mean that it does not mean that you should not transfer, that, you know, it's horrible. It's just like, you are going to have to put yourself out there a lot more than the freshmen who got to all dorm together for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, so you're coming in, and I mean, Temple is not an easy place to just walk into and say, I want friends. Especially if you went to a school like Temple, like a big school or whatever, because what happens is those kids have already found their friends, especially transferring as a junior. I mean, it was just hard. It was really, really difficult. And that's what they don't tell you about transfer. Now, I was always the kid who had a really, really tough time with like wanting to be a part of like clubs or joining clubs, because I was just like, I'm not a nerd. Nerd. Like in my head, nerds join clubs. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not like that. Join clubs, y'all. If you are still in college and or if you are about to go to college or whatever, find a club. Because here's the thing. You're going to find people just like you who have similar interests right off the bat. You know what I mean? You don't have to figure out like, oh, like, do we have anything in common? Like, you know, you have things in common because guess what? You're both in the drama club, or you're both in, you know, a science club, or if you're like me who joined their entertainment talk show on campus. I found all of my people through that. You know what I mean? And as you do, because right off the bat, we all knew that we had a love for not only TV, but entertainment TV. And so it was just dope because like now we're gossiping about the latest tea going on. And I know you know because we both love entertainment news. And so it's like, and then they're in your classes, those same people end up being in your classes, your electives, within your major. And that all stems from being in the same club. And there you go, you have one friend, and then maybe that friend has a friend or a group of friends, and now you're invited to the parties, or you are, you know, invited after school. And it doesn't happen overnight, but it really, really does help. Because for me, my biggest thing was when I first moved to Temple, I didn't love Temple. When I first got there, I loved the scenery. I loved the location. I didn't love that I didn't have my people like me. And it took me, you know, joining Temple Talk to even find people that I was like, okay, like I really like this person or that person. And especially like with Temple Talk for me, because if you are going to Temple or something like that, join Temple Talk, okay? Like, tell them Tyra sent you. I'm sure they'll know. Could you imagine if they didn't? I'd be so embarrassed. No, but I was a bookings director. My senior year, I was on social media and the production team. My junior year, that was like one of the first things that I did was join Temple Talk. And honestly, shout out to my Temple Talk babies, because I wouldn't have made it without y'all. Seriously, like Temple Talk really, really gave me a group of people who I already knew had a common denominator. And then, like I said, those people ended up showing up in my classes. So the first day, I didn't necessarily have to make all new friends, because I'm like, hey, you're in Temple Talk, and now we already have something to talk about. So yeah, join a club because they really, really are beneficial. Pausing on my graduation moment for just a second, because y'all know that I have had trouble these past couple weeks because I ran out of my favorite Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer. I have yet to get it back. Then I decided to go for a Wet n Wild bronzer, which ended up being ashy. Welcome to the stage, Ashy Knees. And so that's how that's how I felt with the bronzers with from Wet n Wild, because I did grab the darkest shade. So I was in the store the other day and I was like, I need a good chocolatey brown bronzer. Like, I'm getting frustrated at you, drugstore, because you guys are supposed to be all inclusive and stuff. Where's the bronzers? And then, y'all, I found a bronzer. Now, this is from the company called The Cream Shop. Now, I never heard of this brand before, so I was really, really intrigued to like try it. And now I'm even more interested or intrigued. College degree, y'all. Anyway, I'm more interested in the rest of their products because this bronzer is the bomb. I am in the shade California Dreamin'. It comes in this cute little packaging with a little heart on it. So cute. I still haven't quite figured out how to open this because it doesn't really have a lip to open it, but you know, you just kind of like push like the top of it up, and then you get a beautiful full pan of bronzer. And it is so rich and chocolatey and not like ashy and like gray toned. This is like literally a chocolatey brown for us brown girls. Now, I will say this was the darkest shade, at least that they carried at Target or CVS. I think it might have been CVS, but this was like the darkest shade they had. So I think that they need to do a little bit of a better job with that, obviously, as most brands do. But y'all, I'm amazed. Watch this. Instantly, we have a cheekbone. And I would say, I mean, maybe it's just a little bit less pigmented, but I would say that this is comparable. And I would call it a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills in Mahogany. Like, I'm telling you, like, the color is like basically the same. I would just say maybe it's just a little bit less pigmented, but I couldn't be happier to have found a drugstore version. That does not mean, however, that I'm not going to get my Anastasia Beverly Hills back as soon as possible. I kind of forgot where I was at with my stories, but I think I was just saying, like, my advice to you is if you get the opportunity, join a club of some sort, something that interests you. It is not weird in college to join a club. It's not weird in general. That's really, I feel like, maybe just a me thing. Who just had like a weird like preconceived notion on who had like a weird preconceived notion of like what clubs are. But yeah, it's definitely not weird. I would say do it because it really does give you people to hang out with and people right off the bat that you have similar interests with. But yeah, y'all, I mean, I had an amazing time at Temple University. It's been a crazy, like last 4 years. I think when I first, graduated from high school, I couldn't have pictured that this is where like I would be today, because I first went out to California. So in my head, I was staying out there and like I really wasn't planning on ever like coming home, coming back, or anything like that. And so the one thing I will say is when it comes to school, have high expectations for yourself, have high expectations for the work that you produce, but don't have high expectations for everything just like working out the way that you want it to, or the way that in your head right now you believe it should go. Because listen, life changes all the time. Things change. Like the way that you feel right now is not going to be the way how you feel forever. The school you're at may not be the school you end up graduating from. And that's like a hard pill to swallow. And that's a hard truth to come to reality with. Trust me. I was devastated leaving California. But in the end, I wish I would have went to Temple first. I wish I would have just like left home and went to Temple and started my life down there, because what I didn't realize is that there were so many more opportunities that came to me because of Temple that I would have never gotten in California. And these are really scary times for those of you who are about to like become like incoming freshmen who just graduated, for those who like still have to go back and blah, blah. Like, I mean, I'm talking to you from a perspective of someone who already finished. I couldn't imagine having to go back during these times, especially for us like journalism, broadcast journalism majors, media production majors, where like sciences who need labs and who need like, we have outside of classroom things that cannot be handled over a Zoom call. And so for that, like, just hang in there. You are going to have to probably put in a little bit more work than you anticipated. However, the payoff is great. The accomplishment, like, I can't say that I'm fully like, yay, I'm so happy that I went to college and now I'm in debt. Like, I can't fully say that's like that's the real tea for me. I hope that I can pay them off one day, honestly. But the sense of pride and accomplishment that comes from finishing school after being in school, like, that's all I know. Every single year from the time I was 4 or 3 going to like preschool, I have been in school every single year. And I'm just overwhelmed with a whole sense of just like, you did it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you really did that. You really, really did that. And I couldn't be prouder of myself for that. I'm going to move on to blush. So I'm going to be taking this shade right here, which is called Provocative. And that's in my Morphe 8W blush palette. Now, a couple more things before I wrap up this video. To my fellow 2020 graduates, whether you were in high school or you were in college like me, I would just say to the high schoolers, if you're gonna go to college, great. If you need a gap year to figure out what is going on in this country, on this earth with the coronavirus and everything else, great. Take your time. But also, if you have the drive to go to school and you have the means and the money to go to school, I would say just continue to go. And to my fellow college grads, I mean, y'all, we did not get the ending that we thought we were going to have. And that was very, very sad to me for a really long time. I couldn't get over the fact that like I wasn't going to be able to like party with my friends like one last time and, you know, graduate. And like there were people who I saw last like fall semester and I was like, I guess the next time I see you will be at graduation. I literally have like goosebumps. Like I remember having that conversation with a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a couple people, and I will never see them again. And that was the last time I will see them. And you know, it just, I don't know. And it's also really horrible because this is when, you know, we enter the job market after waiting our entire lives, doing higher education, coming back from it, and then being like, okay, we also still can't enter the job market right away because there's no jobs. Try to make your own path. I think the biggest lesson that this has taught me once again, we have absolutely no control over how life affects us. All we can control is ourselves and how we pivot and move in different directions to combat life coming at us unexpectedly. Just to give you guys kind of sort of an example, this YouTube thing is definitely a way that I've pivoted and moved around, knowing that I may not have a secure job in the field that I want to work in because of the coronavirus. And the things that I was going to do, I could no longer do because of the virus. So me starting this whole YouTube thing, while it is totally a blessing in disguise, was not meant to happen. But I can honestly say that it forced me into a direction that I would have never taken, but I am so happy that I did. So find something that you can do from home or, you know, as safe as you can be, especially for us journalism majors, and just learn how to be flexible, people. Learn how to pivot and move with the way that things are going in that moment. And the moment that they start to change, understand that things are going to happen and how you can learn how to, you know, figure out how to continue to do what you want to do in the terms of the way that life is currently. That may be too vague, but I really hope that you guys took something from that. All right, y'all, so we have reached the final look. I honestly am so happy with how it came out. I remember that yesterday I saw Jackie Aina's video from, I believe, last week. I might be wrong on that, but a couple days ago she did a video where this is kind of the look that she did. So I think I kind of like pulled inspiration from that without really realizing what I was doing until I got to like the red, and then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I could just finish that. I could just do that. But I really hope you guys liked it. It's a cute little fun little Jamaican vibes look. I like it a lot. Take me down to the Caribbean. Anyway, can't believe that like now I'm moving on to the next chapter of my life, which I don't really even know what that means. I mean, finding a big girl job, getting paid big girl money is always the goal, but I don't really know what that looks like for the next like 4 or 5 years of my life. Greater, bigger, and better things sounds wonderful to me. So we are going to speak that into fruition and hopefully I get something back. But yeah, y'all, I mean, this is the end of the video. Please give this video a like if you liked what I talked about. Give me a comment if you have like a little question about anything I said. And make sure to subscribe to my channel because you're going to be back for more and I have great things coming up. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead. I'll give you time. Go ahead. Click it. Thank you. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, beauties.